Good morning, friends. You may hear a snoozing dog in the background. I have a snoring dog. Oh, just woke up a little bit. We'll see. We'll also see if Camtasia 2023 can keep up with all these simultaneous tracks. I've got a headshot, I've got the screenshot, I've got the microphone. They're all simultaneously recording. And this didn't used to be much of a problem, but these days, on this configuration, it's been a bit choppy. So, where are we? We are in a channel that's devoted to basically integrating into the everyday, you could say high school, but you could just also say sort of baseline curriculum that we use in schools, and that there's not just one of those, obviously, but it's to give pointers as to how we can bring in what I'm currently calling verboten math, because it's not in, it's out. It's tuned out, as in that radio sense of tuning in, tuning out. Verboten math or Martian math is still, I would say, ignored, but it's also, I would say, from the point of view of someone who's advancing it, that it's also actively suppressed. Maybe that just makes it more dramatic, right? It makes it seem like I'm some kind of underdog, me and my comrades as we infiltrate or whatever. But really, it's more just, hey, you got to recast for each era or epoch your knowledge. As you add to your knowledge base, it's also necessary to reorganize. So, what do I mean by, say, supermarket math, which I'm showing here as a subheading, right? What I'm looking at is a new website called Math for Wisdom. It's really just a GitHub repository, but you can make it pretty through NB Viewer. You can look at it, and it looks just like a website. So I'll call it a website. And I'm teaching SQL, structured query language, and Python. And yet I'm calling that math. And supermarket math includes all this stuff that is conventionally not considered math. So if you're a math student, you may be expected to use SQL. It's not like you are off the hook when it comes to computer science, but computer science is more diffused throughout the STEM disciplines: science, technology, engineering, and public policy. Not public policy. Thinking of Institute for Science, Engineering, and Public Policy, ISEP. But I meant to say STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Notice computer science is not in there as a separate subject, right? And there's been some political action around that. I'm aware of attempts to get computer science more explicitly mentioned, all this kind of stuff. But my point is only that what I call math also incorporates a lot more what you could call programming than is usual. And that's just because the technology's changed, right? We're not in the age of calculators anymore. We're in the age of Jupyter notebooks, which is what I'm showing here, right? So you, the student, would be expected to make and share these notebooks yourself. This isn't teachers pushing it out to you, although they do that as role models. Here I'm using phi or phi, and what I'd call the No Child Left Behind polynomial back in the day, right? No Child Left Behind polynomial was kind of a joke because I was lifting NCLB from the propaganda of the day. You know, math comes wrapped in propaganda. Don't ever forget that, right? It's not so pristine as to be immune from what every other discipline gets, which is wrapped in propaganda. You know, just people wrap it up in various ways to make it more attractive in their own mind. You could say fashion is propaganda. You could say models walking down a runway the way they do. That's propaganda. It's like what I would like to do is take the edge off the word propaganda for you and just have it mean advertising or highly biased in a certain way. And yes, it can be deceptive. And yes, you need to be on your guard as to how you're being fooled sometimes by deceptive propaganda. But propaganda just got the good Latin root propagate, that which propagates, right? So I'm trying to, in this propaganda, this website, talk about very basic mathematical topics that nevertheless get wrapped up in a maybe unusual or different ethnically different wrapper, right? They get wrapped up in a different wrapper. The math curriculum looks and feels different. It's not the same math you had in high school. And that's what I go on about here. And yet, it's easy to morph. I've got the pathways, others have the pathways, we've got the spaceways, we've got the ways to take whatever we used to call high school math and shift it, like through sequences, through number sequences, figure it in polyhedral numbers, which you can pick up out of Pascal's triangle, learning Python at the same time. We can get the triangular numbers and the tetrahedral numbers from Pascal's triangle doing pithy Python programming. And that's just going to put us light years ahead wherever we do this, right? In the New Palestine or whatever countries we create. Diaspora nations, virtual nations, something I'm into. Like, I've got 5 or 6 citizenships, but they're all bogus, right? Because we don't, these are all science fiction countries as far as the law is concerned. The law is not that interested in engineering sometimes. I think of it as computer science. Data structures, there you go. A virtual nation, a diaspora nation, it may be global, it may be centered around something like a cult's interest, like math teaching. What's effective math teaching? Planet Math Teacher could be its own nation. Under God indivisible, right? And even with some measure of liberty and justice for all. We could call that Math Teacher Planet or something and have our own passports in our own science fiction. I'm not saying that the guy at the border is going to accept your math passport, your global university passport. It might be a while before you can use that for anything. I'm not trying to perform miracles here, but I do, like I say, wrap science fiction around my math and give you a positive future, because I think we're all looking to better the world, and that was what this futurism that I'm espousing here was hoping to do. Looking through NB Viewer, right, everything looks cooler. Like when I view the videos, I should be able to actually see the YouTubes, whereas on GitHub, I won't see them. Let's try that. Curated videos. And let's see if the page comes up. Page came up. Hey, hey, hey. And with Vivaldi, I can make it bigger. I'll sign off here in a second or two. I just wanted to show you the new Math for Wisdom website with Andreas's Wondrous Wisdom website in the background, where I also appear a lot, and videos galore, and then my channel, videos galore. More specifically focused on a specific geometry, my videos that is. Andreas has Wondrous Wisdom, which is more an amalgam of very high level and interesting math concepts of the day. And to give you more of an on-ramp to that kind of material, which I'm very friendly towards, I have curated a few videos like to give you a running start if you're new to mathematics, but you want to jump in and you want to do it with cutting edge stuff like I'm showing you, in addition to more conventional stuff. Here's the place. Look for the link in the description. Like, subscribe. See you next time.